Here we are live from Saints camp. Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Kristian, Garic. The third round of organized team activities in the books. Next week it's the mini camp. Mike, I want to start with you. Something you have been talking about, a player you've been talking about, Kaden Elliss, again, making plays today, and Dennis Allen acknowledging that.
Yeah, watched him so much in college, and he was a pass rusher up on the line of scrimmage. And you see him now move so smoothly in the coverage part of the game. He had a big pass breakup in the end zone on a red zone play, and Mike, so did Pete Werner.
And Mike, that was against Jarvis Landry zone concept. Yes. So yeah, that's a guy, the type of receiver you would be playing against.
And we talked about it a little bit last week because I could see just how smoothly he was moving around, but it was his ability to throw it in reverse. Very impressive. Pete Werner too. He made a big knockdown in the end zone. So that was impressive to me. But Kaden Elliss, of all the defensive players in these OTAs, he's the one guy that really has stood out.
Bobby, who flashed today? Who made some plays?
Yeah, well, they started off red zone. It's really small windows, like having an extra defender. It was inside the 10-yard line. So the percentage, if you can run it in, I'd rather run it in because it's like having an extra defender because you're inside the 10-yard line. We did 7-on-7 red zone. You know who caught a couple of touchdowns and one really nice catch? Aesop Winston Jr. Yep. So, hey, a great opportunity for him. You know who else caught a touchdown? He ended up winning the 2-minute drill for the offense right there from Destrehan, Arkansas State, Kirk Merritt, number 85. So I think he went to 3 or 4 different schools, and he finally finished up at Arkansas State.
And Dejon Dixon caught one on the other side of the field, right over the middle.
That's a big boy. That's a big man.
The first time I saw
84, he's wearing number 84. Who else wore that? That was a big man.
He reminds me, and I told this to Rebo, man, the first time I saw him on a Nichols uniform as a freshman, I said, you bring Marcus Colston out of retirement. I mean, that's what he looks like. I mean, physically looks like. And he's also working on special teams. Now, I think Alante Taylor has the inside track as the gunner, but we've seen Dejon and Bryce Thompson, and I'll bring his name up again. Bryce made a couple of really nice plays on special teams.
And like Coach Allen was saying, they were doing 7-on-7 red zone, a lot of situational football, like 3rd and long, and then they did 2-minute. Andy Dalton ran the 2-minute, got a couple of first downs, but the defense ended up stopping them. When the offense scored, it was with Ian Book at quarterback. So there was a situation.
Quarterback controversy. No, I'm kidding.
You look at the one thing Ian Book to start the drive, and you thought he might have gotten sacked, but at least he saw this. He hit Dwayne Washington in the flat. That would have been a 30-yard gain to kind of start the drive, and you thought maybe Zach Bond came up with a sack at that time. But the 2 plays of the day, really to sustain those 2-minute drives and potentially get a touchdown. They had to get a touchdown. This was as good a throw as it gets, and he caught the ball smoothly, and that is Lucas Krull. It had been a plus 25-yard gain. He was in the seam, but it was back shoulder. Boy, he turned his body. A nice catch, and on that same drive, Kirk Merritt. It was like a plus 30-yard touchdown from Ian Book. And that ended the practice as he came out on top. And Mike, that's interesting with him because he's from Destrehan, and it shows you he must have a lot of confidence because he's played a lot of different places, and he ends up at Arkansas State, and he caught a couple of touchdowns today in practice.
Look at Lucas Krull. Here's a guy who was one of the top 5 tight ends in the nation. He's a high school kid from Kansas, goes to Florida, doesn't get a lot of playing time there. Well, you know why? Kyle Pitts is there. So he goes to Pitt. Became a really good red zone receiver, short yardage. But on the catch that he moved the sticks, if you saw when he made the route, he was sort of deliberate to get out of the route. He claps his hands like this and they throw it to him. You notice he clap, clap. And I've seen him do that with Kenny Pickett, same way when he was at Pitt.
Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Kristian, Garic, more from Saints training camp. The minicamp is next week. Join us on Sports Talk tonight at 4 o'clock. Bobby, say goodbye.
All right. No, I was going to say bon nuit. Yeah, I know. Who that? Go Saints. I thought we were ending Sports Talk.